Coming up in this episode of Finding Common Ground.
I don't think he was in the Oval Office during the President Obama administration or the President Biden administration, but maybe I just missed Elon. Maybe he was there before he got his hair redone, and that's why I didn't notice him.
Oh, did he get a hair transplant?
I
noticed it's
I don't know.
Well, you saw the PayPal pictures before and after.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm balding. I'm balding in the front. Maybe I need to, Elon, hook me up. Hook a brother up, Elon. It ain't DEI or affirmative action. Hook a brother up here.
There are two sides to every coin.
How do we deal with racial issues when they affect relationships?
Finding common ground on all those issues that we come against.
There's black and there's white.
And I think as Christians, we have to learn how to get together because we're not in heaven.
I've met more interesting people just by God just bringing them in.
Republicans and Democrats.
But a lot of times, when it comes to race and it comes to culture and it comes to perception, even as Christians, we don't always understand. We look at it through our lenses.
There's Bill.
I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland called Parma.
Any black people in Palmer?
There was not one.
Not one black person,
Not
Bill?
one.
Come on,
Not
Bill. You
one.
got to have one. A
Nope.
token black person? A token?
And there's Odell.
I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, public housing, single mom, divorced single mom of 4 kids, and I came up through segregation and all that kind of stuff.
If a black person drove through the town, the police would stop them and escort them out.
Bill and Odell are finding common ground.
A part of what we have to do is listen to each other, find the common ground, and question, not questioning you like you're on a witness stand, but questioning you for better understanding. Father God, we just come to you just saying thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for this great country that we're blessed to live in. We call the United States of America. Just thank you for it. Not perfect, but blessed. And we just thank you as we continue to exercise our freedom, as we continue to be the envy of the world. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we just lift up today. Thank you for safe travels as I moved about the state. We want to lift up Kelly and his family, as Kelly's our guest today. We ask for blessings on them and his mom and dad. Amen.
So I guess the first question I need to ask is, who's Bill Goebel made mad lately? It's been a minute.
Bill Goebel haven't made anybody mad.
Did you hear about my award?
No, tell me about your award.
I got an award from the Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah.
I did hear about that. I think your wife sent me a text about that.
Did she?
Yeah.
I'm giving her money to spread the word out.
Oh, yeah.
What's the award, Mr. Goebel?
It's called the Silver Buffalo.
Okay, you got to explain that. The Silver Buffalo.
Well, let me just give a little context. There's a thing called a silver beaver that the local council gives to volunteers for doing good stuff. And then there's a silver antelope, which is given to volunteers in a region.
Okay.
So like there's a southern region. And then the silver buffalo is, since 1925, only 881 people have gotten it. And people like John Glenn, Neil Armstrong, Teddy Roosevelt, Obama, Ronald Reagan, just a lot of influential people. So I'm getting it May 15th in Orlando.
Oh, wow. That's really
Congratulations.
cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
President Obama got it?
Yeah.
My president?
Yep.
The black president?
He's a buffalo, buddy.
He's a buffalo?
He's a buffalo.
Okay. How about my shero, Nancy Pelosi? Did Nancy get it?
No.
Oh, I'm a little
I
sad.
thought Bill Clinton was our first black president.
We told him that. We lied to Bill. He was on Arsenio Hall show playing the saxophone. He was cool. Hey, listen, that's all we had at the time, man. That's all we had. We had to go for what we had. It's the madness of it. Now, gentlemen, do you know what time of year it is? It's called March Madness.
Yeah.
March Madness, and just think about it.
How's your bracket doing?
I'm telling you right now, I'm going to show you my bracket right now. My bracket is called Group Chat. The Trump administration accidentally texts me the war plans. They text Odell the war
I
plans.
thought they text you the brackets.
I don't know.
They should have texted you the brackets.
They
man.
text the war plan.
Yeah.
What in the world is that all
who's
about,
supposed to
Mr.
win the
Goebel?
tournament? You know who's
Did
winning?
Hegseth have Duke winning?
No, he had Trump Academy.
I want to know.
Trump Academy is going to be winning. He's gonna win the whole thing.
How in the world? You know what? what I love about sports, and you're a sports guy,
Yeah,
Bill, you're a
he's a
sports.
big. He used to play college football.
Yeah, and
He's a big
tennis.
guy. Yeah.
Tennis. And
Well,
Bill,
tennis,
you ran
yeah.
track.
Oh, by the way, my son is a national champion.
Yeah, I saw that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
see,
with-
Wake Forest University.
see, that's
Yeah.
the good thing about it. When you
That's
play
great.
sports, it's all out there. Everybody gets the chance to see it. So what's so good about March Madness, we know who's qualified and who's not. On your son's being a national champion, he had to win that. No one gave it to him, right? Bill, when you were running your races, you had to win. When we won all of our state championships and the national championships in basketball, you have to be good. And if you're not good, the competitor says
Takes you out.
he takes you out.
Takes you out.
So what happened if our people in the War Department now is not good? Do you think our enemy or our competition know they're not good?
I don't know. I guess my question is, can they play basketball?
I don't know. They can't do chats. So maybe they can play. Can they do track?
I just like the fact that they use the same emojis as I do when they're doing a group text. You know, the fist bump and the fire. And
Yeah.
you know,
Did you-
because I read some of it.
So did they publish it?
Well, the Atlantic published it because the Trump administration was like claiming that they didn't really, it wasn't of national security. It was just some banter going back and forth, and that there was nothing
Special in there.
special about it other than, you know, we're attacking another nation.
What do you think after reading it?
I think it's amateur hour, but I mean, you know, it's pile on time. Listen, anything that you, or any ammo that you give to pile on to Trump right now, you know,
Everybody's
the
piling on.
opposition is going to pile on. And
Yeah.
if you give them something to pile on about, then that's too bad for you. Do better.
Yeah.
Pay more attention.
Before you hit send.
Well, I don't even understand. You know, wouldn't you think that they have some like government-based text or chat like program so that it
Just
can't?
secure?
Yeah, that's secure. I mean, is he just like using WhatsApp like the rest of us?
Yeah. Really. Yeah. I heard they were going to FaceTime next time.
Oh, Lord. You know what? Have y'all heard this rumor? They're talking about reparations.
Who's
Have you
talking?
heard it?
Who's talking?
The Trump administration,
For who?
January the 6th, they did a pardon, a proclamation to grant them clemency, right? For about 1,500 people convicted of offenses related to the attack January 6th, United States Capitol. Now they come what? Financial compensation. And Trump said he's taking care of his people, man.
Do they get 40 acres and a mule? Or what are they going to get?
Give them that promise because black folk never got out 40 acres in a mule. So now they protest, and Trump said they was just protesting peacefully and patriotically.
Oh, they were just
And
hanging
now
out,
they're
huh?
going to get financial reparations.
Well,
What do you think about that? I like the 40 acres
know,
and a mule.
No, I like that too.
that.
But I think it should be 40 acres and a
I mean,
jackass.
give them their own state for all I care.
Yeah.
I mean, what do y'all think about that? Because I always thought reparations was a bad word when it comes to the Republican Party.
There was what 700 people that went to jail over this, and we've got 50 some states. Maybe we just divide it up and each of them pick a state that they want part of.
And we just give them the state?
We'll give them,
Mississippi.
look at I can put Parma on the map.
No, you can't. No, I have a T-shirt saying Palmer. So Palmer, don't you worry about it. You will not be a part of the January 6th reparation deal.
No.
You will not be a part of it. Not now,
We
never.
wanted the
Where I tried to stay current, but where was this like on public news?
This
or?
was in a new chat thing that has.
Oh no, it's not. No, President Trump did it, and the young lady. It's interesting, and the young lady who got shot, he said she was just minding her own business and just trying to hold everybody back, and she's a hero.
She was walking by and somebody shot her.
Yeah, and we can't make fun of that. But let me just tell you what we can give the people for reparations. We can give them a Tesla.
The Tesla.
Oh, wow, my fault. Bill, you have a Tesla. What's going on with the Tesla? Bill, have you gotten any middle fingers or any kind
My
of
wife
thing?
drives it, so I don't know the answer to that. But she does have a sticker on that my daughter gave her. It says, "I bought this before Elon went crazy."
I saw a sticker like that on national news, and I thought it was fake news.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, think about it. The new
I'll tell you
FBI
what.
task force out there saying anti-Tesla domestic terrorism. That's what's going on now.
Well, it's interesting. I was listening to the news today, and they were talking about all the hate coming toward Elon and Tesla and all that. And I'm thinking, didn't Trump say a few things when he was out campaigning? People were enemies and you leave the country. I mean, he was pretty harsh on some people.
Yeah, the rhetoric in our country is just really just nasty.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible.
Man,
I mean, I got it in a school.
I'm not even sure I mean, you know, Elon Musk just needs to be protected from himself. I mean, there's probably has some kind of social autism or something.
Yeah.
He's somewhere on that.
social autism.
Well, I think at one point somebody said that he suffered from Asperger's
Yeah.
or, you know, which is on the spectrum of
yeah.
It's the Elon Musk who's running around
Yeah.
with the chainsaw.
Well, you know what I'd like to do?
Cutting jobs out.
I think if Kelly and Elon were on a deal together where they had to work together, I'd pick Kelly.
Well, listen,
he would
forget
not-
about this DOGE thing. Elon Musk, just an idea guy, that's to be respected. And so, you know, I have mixed emotions about going after Elon. Of course, the whole DOGE thing, I mean, it leaves a bad taste in people's mouth because it's seemingly ready, shoot, aim instead of really, you know, going in and surgically looking at where the waste is. But Elon Musk, the guy, you know, putting space rockets up into space and saving astronauts and SpaceX and Starlink and all the technology. I mean, this guy is on par with the greats, with Nikola Tesla and, you know, Edison and
Franklin,
you know, all these great minds. And so I hope we can protect Elon from Elon, because seemingly if they take him down, they're taking down a great mind.
Yeah. No, I don't think they'll take him down. I think, you know, it's interesting. You look at when I worked in corporate America, when you had a down year or you were at the company that wasn't doing well, you know, they start cutting things. Okay. And, you know, that in some cases, I remember one year everybody was sending everything Federal Express because we didn't have internet.
When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
You got it. And our Federal Express number was huge. And finally they came and said nothing goes Federal Express anymore unless approved by some higher up.
We have that problem.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
And so then when they had to really cut, the company was possibly going to be insolvent. They just came in with an axe cleaver. They said, everybody cuts 20% out of their budget. People, everything. And, you know, they didn't say, you know, this person or that person. They just said 20%, whatever the number was. And then they let them go. And then they put a freeze on salary increases, a freeze on hiring. You know, they do all those things, you know, freeze on travel. And, you know, we've never done that in the government.
Well,
We just keep adding.
Well, it's not as though that there's not waste, and there's not as though there's places where you can cut, but like it's not.
Could you do it better? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I don't know how Elon got picked to be this person.
I know how.
250
I got the
million.
answer. Call on me, teacher. Bill,
Well,
you know the answer, Bill.
Yeah,
You're gonna
250
say
million.
because he gave all the money. Yeah, but I don't know why Elon was maybe he's qualified as a business person, because I mean, if he's used to looking at the bottom line of all his companies and you know, as seemingly as a
I
CEO,
don't think so. I think Elon is a power grab person. I mean, Elon's enjoying himself, and I'm not mad at Elon because Elon paid for his ticket. Elon said, how much was it, Bill? 200 something million?
Yeah, 250 million.
And he's committed to do
That's
bunch
all in
of
a day's
stuff.
work for him.
Yeah, that's
I mean-
rounding error.
Think about it. And guys, I know we're going to land on tariffs, and I want to spend the majority of time on tariffs, but something I was looking at, U.S. aid unfreezes 19 million for Samaritan Purse, Franklin Graham. So they were cutting and holding up and did everything else. So nobody was going to get any of that U.S. aid money, right? Because that was the money that was fueling terrorists and doing everything around the world. And someone said, wait a minute. Franklin Graham, Samaritan Purse, who does good work, we got 19 million. So I know you froze everything, but you got to let this go. And you know what happened? Miraculously, their money started flowing again. So is it selective? Is the cuts and the freezes selective, or the cuts and freezes? I don't know, guys. I'm confused. Can someone help me out?
It's politics. You know the answer. Teacher, raise your hand. I mean, you knew the answer before you asked it. Would never ask a question you don't know the answer to. But it does make a point, which is that, you know, if you're on our team, you have our views. If you're going down our road, then maybe we can close one eye to it. But, you know, in the absence of good judgment, of course, Elon just slashing everything. And for everything that I've heard, and I don't know much about Samaritan's Purse, I see their airplanes on the tarmac at PTI when I'm.
Let me help you. Samaritan Purse is an excellent organization.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear you say
Excellent
that. I don't know much about it, but I did hear of all the good that they did for North Carolina during the hurricane.
Yep, they did a lot.
And they were there when the government wasn't. And so, you know, hopefully they're a great organization, and hopefully there's other great organizations that can stand up and say, hey, we need to be refunded too. I mean, I'm sure they're not the only one.
Well, okay, you're absolutely right. Speaking about when the government wasn't, FEMA, I heard that FEMA's getting to be taken apart, like the Department of Education is going to be taken apart. And what else is President Trump or the Trump administration taking apart?
I mean, the Department of Education sucks. So, okay. I mean, listen, the Trump delusional syndrome is as strong as it was 4 years ago. But I will say this, I don't think he's got everything wrong. And I mean, the Department of Education is maybe a place where they need to, you know, take a deep dive on, maybe not dismantling it. Maybe that's not the answer. And because their answer is, we'll push it back to the states. Great. Okay. So it's a free for all.
Yep.
Right.
Every state has a different rules.
The education system in America is broken. And I don't think that there's anybody on either party who can say that it's not. I mean, this is your cup of tea. I mean, you had a front row seat for this.
Yeah, it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, and so I mean, maybe when Trump starts these conversations, it's meant to provoke. And I mean, I think that that's like his nature is that's how he doesn't know how to enter into a conversation gingerly, right? Like when you're having a conversation, you're trying to coax or convince people, you kind of ease into it, you sell it to America, fireside chat, you sit down and we say, these are some tough things that we're going to need to do. But with Trump, it's just like, he wakes up, he's like, I think we're going to dismantle the Department of Education. That sounds like a great idea. Ready, set, go.
But he doesn't do that with Putin, though. Maybe just something about Putin. I don't know. You know, it's like the guy who fights women but won't fight a man. Does he wake up, ready, set, go, and just tell Putin? Maybe I'm missing the Putin conversations. Does he go and tell Putin, this is what we're going to do? Does he bring Putin in the White House and embarrass him like he did the Ukrainian president? It's almost like, and he said, and this was the one that got me, Russia didn't start the war. I'm like, wait a minute. No. It wasn't Russia's fault. It wasn't Putin's fault. They had nothing to do with it. I'm like, wait a minute. And he's like,
let me ask a question.
Yes.
Where was the outrage in 2013 when they invaded Crimea? I mean, what I don't understand is this became a hot button issue in the United States because it became a Democratic versus Republican issue. There was no outcry in 2013 when he marched right in and took it. And then they shot down a Malaysian airplane. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They shot down a Malaysian. 400 innocent people died because somebody shot a plane down because they thought it was an enemy airplane. Where was the outrage then? I totally agree with you, but I just hate this selective outrage. It's just so tiring, right? Let's have a conversation about it, right? Of course, you know, anybody can say that the relationship between Putin and Trump is strange, and I think this is part and parcel to the bigger conversation on tariffs. It's almost like Trump is following a page out of The Art of War. You know, the book by Sun Tzu.
Yes.
It's like he's everything he does is based on deception, right? The basic principle of The Art of War is all war is based on deception. And so he's creating this aura of deception. And so I don't know if he's butting up to him to like pretend to be his friend. Like, I don't get it. I don't claim to understand it. My only issue is I don't understand why it became such an important American political issue when it could have been on Obama's desk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't do much about it. I mean, maybe we protested. And where was NATO in 2013? That's the other question.
Well, it's 2013. You're right. Now it's 2025, and we know what Trump is. And I think Trump is very happy he had a chance to talk to his buddy Putin the other day. So it looks like him and Putin, they're just buddies, frat boys, I guess that's what you call it. Putin riding around a horse with his shirt off. I guess Trump would be riding around on a horse with his shirt
golf
off.
cart.
A golf cart with his shirt off. But you said something that's very interesting, though. You talked about tariffs. The average person doesn't, let's assume that our listeners, tariffs is not on the top of their list. Now, you travel throughout the world. Can you explain to us what tariffs are and how do they work and where? Because you know more than the majority of us on tariffs, sir.
Yeah, I mean, what do tariffs mean is basically, usually tariffs are used to create an unfair environment for your own.
Can you explain?
Well, so let's say if I'm a manufacturer of widgets, okay, and I'm competing in the world with my widgets, how competitive I am is based on multiple factors: what country I'm in, the cost of my labor, the cost of my materials, the cost to ship it, the cost to do anything. And then if I want to export that, I'm competing against the rest of the world. So what a lot of countries do is they create barriers, they create walls for other products to come in to protect their own industries. And most of those are used or called tariffs or duties. And so I'll give you for instance, I lived in Thailand for 13, 14 years. When I went to go buy a car, the first time I bought a car, I got a rude awakening because I bought an imported car. The tariff was 100%. And then there was a duty based on the liter. So how large the engine was. And so a car that would be, just for the sake of this conversation, 50,000 really was 100,000 plus the cost of the size of the engine, the consumption in gas. And so, but the reason why Thailand was doing that was to protect its car industry. They were the Detroit of Southeast Asia. And so it was meant to protect their industries. And so when you hear Trump using the word tariffs, we're going to tariff our way back to prosperity. He's doing it kind of as a populist message to say, I'm trying to protect American manufacturing or bring back American manufacturing by preventing other countries from dumping their goods and services into the United States in an uncompetitive way. And so, that's where
Well, give you an example. When the Toyota plant that we have down here coming up in Randolph County.
Yeah, Liberty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're making batteries for their hybrids and their electric cars. Well, their competitor is Honda, right? Honda's now going to be buying batteries from this Toyota plant. So you ask, why would they buy batteries from their competitor? Because they were buying them from China, and there's a tariff.
Well, interestingly enough,
That's a good point, Bill.
Biden put a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles three years ago. So it's not like tariffs haven't been a part of, like, we banned the Japanese from importing pickup trucks for the longest time until they agreed to because pickup trucks traditionally were the best-selling cars in America, and we were protecting Detroit. And so they were banned, or they had a huge tariff that made it, impossible to be of value in America until the Japanese started building pickup truck factories in the deep South. And so, tariffs can be used as a powerful tool. In the case of Trump, because it always circles back to politics. Mm-hmm. I say that Trump is just using it as a way of provoking, and I think his attention in all of this, although Canada and Mexico were the primary recipients of the initial shock, and I think he did that because he knew that he could bully them, because trade with America between Canada and America is much more important to Canada than it is to America, and the same could be said for Mexico, and so I think he was doing that to make all these other countries that are cozying up to China think twice. And I think the person or the people that he has his attention on is China. And you could say that he's doing it for a multitude of reasons. He can say that he's doing it to protect American jobs, and to a certain extent he is, but I think he's also doing it to protect America from the influence of China in the rest of the world. If you see China,
like TikTok? TikTok?
No, not TikTok. I'm talking about China in third world countries. China going in and buying the mineral rights and managing ports in foreign countries.
In Antigua, China built their airport, rebuilt their airport for them.
Yeah.
Did a lot of infrastructure for them. and basically kind of took over Antigua.
And this is going on all around the world. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a recolonization kind of situation, especially in Africa, in the Caribbean, not so much in India, but in Southeast Asia. But there's this kind of creeping going on of China and their influence. And I think Trump is looking at them and he's saying, you want to sell your goods in our country. We're the largest consumption economy in the world. The way I can get your attention is to just tariff your goods and just make you aware that, it's kind of a check. I'm putting you on check. I don't think maybe part of his goal is to bring back some jobs to America, but even if he just in my mind, and let me just preface this by saying I am not an economist, okay? I'm just a business person and I have perception and I can kind of see what's going on. And I'm sure that there's much smarter people than me who are looking at this on a much deeper level. But if his goal is to bring back manufacturing to the United States, he can't bring it back fast enough to have an impact on his election.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
It takes a long time.
Look how long they've been building the Toyota plant. They don't even have the occupancy permit, I think, till next week.
Right. And so that's why I circle back to this. I think he's using it as a political tool to check people. And again, I come back to the art of war, which is if you're equally matched, provoke. And I think in Trump's case, he thinks that he's equally matched. Of course, China, they dump their goods into the U.S. They provide a great value to the American consumer. But what does China do in return? They buy our debt, right? So I don't know, you have your handy phone, you can fact check it, but I think they're probably one of the largest holders of American debt.
They are.
And so they're buying our debt. So China could just, stop buying our debt and all of a sudden we're upside down. And so, I mean, it's just the potential for this thing spiraling out of control is great. I don't think it would ever get to that point, but Trump doesn't seemingly mind to go right to the edge and then pull back. I mean, for me personally, our business, specifically for us in Mexico, has been deeply affected. It started off with the threat of, after the election, the tariffs are coming, and then they came, and then the day before he pulled back, and then he said, we're going to give a 2-week reprieve. And then 2 weeks later, he immediately put on 25%. It caused me 3 days of hell. We had trucks at the border.
3 days of hell. Explain that to me.
Well, for about 72 hours, there was 25% duty on all goods, regardless of what they were, from Mexico and from Canada. Okay. And one day later, he said, well, we're going to exempt automobiles. And then the next day, we're going to exempt something else. And then on the third day, he said everything exempt, and we're going to pause for 1 month, and then we're going to go back and we're going to reevaluate.
Yeah, he's moving the goalposts now.
Yeah, he keeps moving the goalposts, and so what's happening is now everybody's kind of in a wait and see mode. Well, for business people, wait and see is the worst place to be. It's a black hole, and so we had goods that were at the border. Of course, we immediately turned them around because we figured this will sort itself out. 3 days later, we're shipping them back across the border, but our backlog went to nothing from Mexico because, 25%, that's a deal breaker. There's no coming back from that. And then the other thing that was kind of ironic is that I think to a certain extent, he's using it as a political tool to intervene in elections because, he and Trudeau, they never really liked each other. It's been a bad marriage. And even after the election, Trudeau went down to Mar-a-Lago and tried to kiss the ring and maybe make up. And I don't think it went too far. And so I think this whole duty thing is what probably pushed Canada into a snap election and electing a new prime minister. Mexico is a little bit different in the sense that she's really been playing Trump well. I think she's very clever. And I think she has been negotiating in good faith with him and playing to his ego because he loves that. She makes him feel like he's superior and they're weak, and because of that, he stands taller. And I mean, I'm sure in back rooms they're saying, "Hey, Donald, okay, you're saying that the reason for these tariffs is fentanyl and this uncontrolled border where people are just passing." Okay,
build a wall. Mexico gonna build a wall.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But I want to finish this thought because it's kind of important in the sense that, okay, so he put these tariffs on, but then he never really said, well, here are the things that you need to do to get out of these tariffs. There was never any set of rules or any way to get to a finish line. And so I'm sure behind the scenes, the president of Mexico was saying, listen, Mr. Trump, with all due respect, I don't think there's anything to be gained by destabilizing the Mexican economy, because if you put 25% duty on our goods, instantly we're going to lose, all of our markets. We're going to lose most of our manufacturing base because nobody can handle a 25% price increase.
Right.
And you're going to destabilize my country. And so that's just going to force what you've been trying to protect from happening to happen, because all of a sudden, all these people in Mexico are going to rush to where they assume there are jobs, which is America or in the United States. So you're trying to prevent these people. Well, the easiest way to prevent them from coming to America is make sure that the country that they come from has a stable block of jobs to give them, so that they have a way of earning a living. And so, again, none of it makes sense, but I think that that's what he likes. He likes the aura of kind of, you never know what I'm going to do. I'm unpredictable. I could change my mind. And I'm sure that the people that handle him are like, they never even know themselves. They're like, we have no idea what the president's going to say.
Yeah.
He's got it's the opposite of Obama. Obama was fantastic. He could get up and deliver a message, but the message was coming from the teleprompter. Trump, I don't think the guy uses a teleprompter. I think it's just ad lib right off the top of his head. The guy just, whatever comes to his mind, he says it. Well, and at any rate, I've been rambling on. So,
Mr. Goble?
Well, I saw what you described about him just rambling. We had him come to speak at the National Jamboree to Scouts, and once he started speaking, and then he went off script, we adults said, holy cow, we're going to have to do damage control. And he was talking about guys picking
Scouts
up.
are the greatest.
Yeah. Oh, he I don't know where he thought he was, but, we had 35,000 kids and we're, he's talking about, guys on boats with chicks and all this
Are
stuff.
you serious?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, if you listen to it, it's like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And so I was standing next to the guy who, Randall Stevenson, who was the head of AT&T, and he was our president at the time. And Rex Tillerson was there. And that's the famous quote that Rex got that somehow got back to Trump that fired him. And so the next day we were out talking to the leaders and the kids, because we're figuring, oh man, that was not good. The kids did not remember anything he said. What they remembered was the Secret Service, the jet coming over,
Right.
the limousines,
Right.
The beast. They that's all they cared about. What did he say? We don't have any idea what he said.
Yeah, the
Sound
adults are all
like a preacher. Sound like a church. What did the preacher preach about? I don't know, but he sure did preach.
they're all scratching their head. They're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Is there a message here?
Exactly. But hey, answer your question. You want to know how much debt? This is something interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious who. I thought it used to be the Japanese owned all our debt.
Well, they are. They're number one.
Yeah.
The Chinese own $760 billion.
Wow.
And the Japanese own $1 trillion.
Okay. So
Followed by United Kingdom and Luxembourg.
What's Luxembourg? What's that?
Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a city country.
Yeah. It's a
small country in Europe.
But also,
And they own it. A small country in Europe is the fourth leading.
Well, I think it's
entity
like a banking country. It's kind of like
Switzerland.
yeah,
or the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, but here's
or the
something
Caymans
interesting.
or Bermuda.
Our gross national product is pretty significantly bigger than China, but our debt, 37 trillion. Their debt is 4 trillion.
So,
But they control their currency too, so I mean, it's a kind of an unfair when you can manipulate your currency the way they do, it gives you a little bit of an advantage. Look, the bottom line is China is not. I mean, China, I don't want to say China is bad, but like when you have 1 billion people and you're probably going to be the largest economy in the world if you're not already. Still the U.S. has more purchasing power, but they're the driver, they're the mover and the shaker. There's more, like they're the biggest threat to the United States.
well, speaking of threats, Mr. Goebel,
Yes.
what do you think about the town hall meetings? Because since it's March Madness and there's a lot of excitement going on, are these cheerleaders? You know, when you play ball, you're used to I was very much used to when we went on the road, away games, that the opponents, they would be yelling or screaming, Cleveland's a bomb, and da da da. But at our home games, you know, they loved me. They loved me. They loved me. Odell, you can do no wrong. What's going on with the GOP town halls? It seems like ain't much love going on. Maybe it's just me. And like President Trump said, they're just paid protesters. They're just paid people protesting. But I don't think everybody's paid, because I saw the thing in North Carolina up there in the mountains in Asheville, and those people are a little upset. So what's going on with the GOP? I mean, you're the Republican in the room.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to give Chris Meadows a call and see what he's up to. Sounds like he's stirring up the pot here.
But what are they arguing about? They're complaining about what? They're saying what? Because I'm meeting more people who, for whatever reason, they're like, yeah, my son, my daughter lost their job due to cuts. And I think that a lot of these cuts that you talked about earlier, it's affected a lot of people because the government is so intertwined. You could cut the apple juice budget, but somehow
there's a lot of waste
stuff in there.
There's a lot of waste in our government. I'll give you an example. AHA over here, which is the Hebrew Academy.
Yes.
Hebrew Academy was shut down because it wasn't making it financially.
Right. Very much.
And so it was sitting empty. The Olympic swimming pool just turned green from being dirty. It just roofs were leaking. Well, suddenly the Homeland Security, I think it was, decided that they were going to put illegal immigrant young people there.
I remember that.
For maybe a month to 2 months to find, a relative or something. In the meantime, they would teach them English and about the United States. So they
indoctrinate them.
Yes, and so
doesn't a Japanese company own AHA?
Yeah, well, it does now, and you can't find out who's on the board.
Oh,
you can't find out who's on the board.
I know who's on the board.
They had 20.
Bill Goebel, Odell Cleveland, Kelly Hunt. I know who's on the board.
Yeah,
I know who's on the board. I know who's getting paid, brother.
The taxpayers of Guilford County.
Well, so there was a $29 million debt on this thing that the Chinese picked up. And so they paid that off. So now the debt's to the Chinese. And they were going to make it into a high school for kids to come over and study here and then go back and take a test, some kind of test. Well, all that stopped when the Homeland Security said, we're going to turn it into this place. And they redid everything. I mean, they fixed everything up. They leased it for $50 million.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait.
50.
How much did they pay for it?
I think that when it was built, might have been $100 million.
No, I mean, how much did the Chinese pay for it?
$29 million.
$29 million. And somebody came in.
They're going to lease it for $50 million.
No, before they leased it, they refurbished it at their cost.
Yep.
Oh, and now they're going to lease it for $50 million.
And they brought in a couple hundred people and trained them on what to do to train these kids when they come through. And then suddenly decided they weren't going to need it.
Okay.
And so they're shutting it down.
And they still got paid?
They got to pay the $50 million. And the government said, DOGE says, no, we're done. And so now they're getting sued because there was a contract.
Right.
And so I don't know what's going to happen. We end up in court. But my point is, we spent all that money, our money, for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
and how many more are there like that?
It's not as though there's not waste. It's just like find it in the proper way, you know, dig in. And it may take time, but do it in a proper way.
But that's not the way Musk did X.
No.
He went in Twitter, he gutted everything.
Yeah,
but everybody said, oh, he's going to
disruptor.
Yeah, exactly. But
Twitter's
now,
still running.
But X is running too.
Yeah,
I mean, Truth. What's the name?
It's X.
No, I'm talking about Donald Trump's thing.
I don't know what
Truth Circle. What is it? Truth.
I have no idea.
Truth something.
Yeah.
Because now, listen. Let's be fair. The entrepreneur in me, I could appreciate what Donald Trump is doing because Trump is getting paid. Now, the last time I checked, I think Elon has $1 zillion trillion worth for governmental contracts.
Yeah.
Have he cut any of those? Maybe the DOGE cut Elon's pocket What's going on here?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I know that he was working on a contract to put Starlink in the country of Italy. You know, when I was in Ukraine,
Well, I can see they're using all these countries that are potentially on Liberation Day. That's April 2nd.
okay.
That's the April the 2nd. I see all the countries that are most fearful of being, getting hit with heavy tariffs. All of a sudden they're putting in Starlink. Like I just read about Vietnam and they're cutting their tariffs. I mean, so, you laugh.
I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. Think about it. It's like Elon's like, I'm going to cut everything, USA, but buy my product.
Yeah, but okay, you could make an argument, and I'm not being a devil's advocate. And again, I don't want to. I'm not like trying to Elon for president.
You can't defend Elon. You can't defend Elon. But go ahead.
You can in the sense that his technology is the best. So if there's an answer to Starlink, step up. Let's see it.
Sure.
Why don't he leave the federal government alone and go peddle his snake oil that he's doing? And let him do that.
Well, I think he was doing that. I think he was doing that during the Biden administration. I mean, SpaceX was born during Obama.
yeah.
Okay, that's not it. That's not my point. My point is, I don't think he was in the Oval Office during the President Obama administration or the President Biden administration, but maybe I just missed Elon. Maybe he was there before he got his hair redone, and that's why I didn't notice him.
Oh, did he get a hair transplant? Is that what it?
I
noticed it's like.
I don't know.
Well, you saw the PayPal pictures before and after.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm balding. I'm balding in the front. Maybe I need to. Elon, hook me up. Hook a brother up, Elon. It ain't DEI or affirmative action. Hook a brother up here.
When I was in Ukraine, they had Starlink, and I had always 5 bars every place.
And they put Starlink in Asheville when they lost communications.
Yeah,
I mean,
Trump called them and asked them to put it there. Right now, I have 2 bars sitting in my house in Greensboro, North Carolina.
You need to call Trump, Bill. You need to call Elon, brother.
you need to create a technology company and give Trump $250 million, and you will be elected to the school board.
Yeah, finally, school board.
But he had 4 or 5 of those guys lined up in the inauguration, right?
Well, I mean, they would come kiss the ring of the new king. I mean, that's the.
We don't have a king in America.
That's right. I'm sorry.
We do not have a king.
The new president.
Okay.
Hopefully he leaves at the end of his 4 years. I think that's what everybody's fear is right now, is that,
I'm not fearful.
No,
I think he's going to run for another 4 years if he's healthy.
I'm not fearful.
He's Trump.
well,
It's against the
there's
law.
Term limits are going to
It's term limits.
unless he.
It's term limits. We have rules in this country.
No.
We have
Just
rules.
Executive order, and he's back in, baby.
So we don't have rules anymore. So the federal government, the judges, because now we're arguing over, all of a sudden now, this federal judge, they have no jurisdiction over me. The Supreme Court, we don't care. He got a little beyond himself. He started smelling himself when he started saying impeach the judge, and one of the Supreme Court justices said, wait a minute, you can't be saying that. He said, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Little wink, wink, smile, smile.
I don't think there's any love between the Supreme Court and Donald Trump. I don't get that feeling. I mean, they've checked him. I mean, now the lady that Comey, or she bucked him on a couple of things, and now she's like a new enemy. I remember reading this.
She's going to go.
What did Clarence Thomas buck Donald Trump on?
I don't know about Clarence. I'm just talking about, the
one of them did.
Yeah, one of them did, and then
one of his people.
He put her in. Remember, that was they blocked, or they rushed her. He was a lame duck.
Oh, listen. Oh, I know.
Yeah, you know the story.
I know the story. Mitch McConnell. I know you also tired of me talking about Mitch McConnell wouldn't give President Obama's guy a hearing in 8 months and rushed Trump's young lady through in 8 weeks. Yeah, but we don't want to go there.
You know what the funniest thing about Mitch McConnell is? The Canadians put tariffs on Kentucky whiskey. You think that was a shot at Mitch McConnell?
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. Of course. Mitch is trying to rewrite history.
They're going to have to be bootlegging whiskey to Canada.
I was in Kentucky this past weekend, and there is so much bourbon available.
Well, bourbon sales is slowing. I think the bloom is off the rose.
I agree.
Yeah, there was a bourbon culture. I have a lot of friends that are like you and your group.
Yeah.
Why is bourbon slowing down, Bill?
Because they're making too much. There's so many people, like a Buffalo Trace at its
Yeah.
6 million bottle capacity.
But also it became like crafted beer.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many different brands and
There's so too many. Crafted beer at one time was a hot thing.
Yeah.
And now it's like there's one down the corner.
But what was it? Uncle Nerwin?
Uncle Nearest.
I mean, come on, man. The history, the story.
Yeah.
The preacher, the jackleg, bootleg preacher.
Yeah. Sales are down.
Isn't that funny though? They used to bootleg the liquor from during Prohibition from Canada to the U.S. Now we have to bootleg our whiskey to Canada.
I learned something when going on the tour. You know, when they started Prohibition, and Prohibition lasted like 15 years. It wasn't just a little bit. But what happened is the government was making so much money off of alcohol that when they did Prohibition, they lost all that income. Guess what they started to replace it?
What?
Income tax. That's how our income tax started, because they weren't making enough money to fund the government, and they didn't want to do it on bourbon or whiskey,
Yes.
alcohol. So they started taxing us. That's when income tax started. So you would think that when Prohibition would stop, they'd drop income tax. No. And the same thing happened with the lottery, the school lottery here in North Carolina. Originally, it was set up so that the schools would get, I think, 46% of the profits.
Okay.
Of the proceeds, because, you got to give 50% to the people who win, right? So it only leaves about 4% for administration and marketing. So 46%. And it was supposed to be incremental to what the schools got. So let's say in the state budget, we had $1 billion for schools. The state lottery would give more money. So let's say it raised $200 million. There would be $1 billion plus $200 million would go to schools.
Right.
Well, once the lottery was passed, state legislature changed the law. And
So where does the money go?
right now, the law is it's at the discretion of the state legislature what percentage goes to schools. Right now, it's at 26% versus 46%. And here's the other thing. They took it off the fact that it was incremental, that it was supplemental. So now if you get to 200 million, the state only has to pony up 800 million to get to the billion. So the money goes back into the general coffers. To answer your question.
So let me ask you.
Isn't that crazy?
So
And that's not how it was supposed to be set up.
bait and switch?
You think? I'll tell you what, I need DOGE in there.
No, you
I
need
need
Doge.
Doge.
Yeah, you need
I need a DOGE to look at this.
Exactly.
The Elon Musk lottery.
Yeah.
Speaking of
He'll
lottery,
give away $1 billion of his money.
Yeah,
Hey.
isn't he giving $1 million to somebody in a lottery for registering
the
people?
vote register. Guys, think about this. It's almost like sports betting. What do you call it? Do we call it? It's not gambling. It's sports betting. It's entertainment. It's March Madness, baby. Your brackets. I mean, who had money on the brackets? I'm too cheap to bet, but
I
it's
do
like
bragging rights. That's all we
yeah,
do.
exactly.
I agree with you, and I have the crappiest luck when it comes to that. So
Do you really?
And the person who wins is someone who don't even know how to spell basketball.
right.
Yeah, speaking of that, sports, Oregon Ducks did good this year in football.
Yeah, I mean, their best team money can buy, or one of them.
Are you an Oregon Duck fan?
No, I come from an Oregon family.
Oh,
My
I
mom and
didn't
dad.
know that.
Oh, my
So that was a cheap shot. Goebel pulled the cheap
Well,
shot
it
on
was
us.
because Ohio State spanked them down in the
final.
in the semifinal.
Yeah, semifinal.
Yeah, it was a little shot, but
Well, the Ohio State, if they didn't win,
the second best team money can buy.
Who's the best team money could buy? Hey, Bill Belichick, baby. UNC, Chapel Hill Tar Heels.
I tell you what, he's talking about taking money from the basketball program. When they're talking about taking money from the basketball program for the football, there's something going on.
yeah. Those alumni people are pretty tight on that money because they're giving it.
Dean Smith is turning over in his grave right now.
Oh my gosh.
Bill,
yeah.
Hey, Belichick came to town. Only way Bill could come. And Bill
With his
brought-
26-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah, who checks all his emails before
Huh?
they go out.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with Bill Belichick's eyes.
How old is Bill? How old is Bill? How old is
72.
Bill Belichick. I'm sorry. How old is Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick, I think he's in his 70s, early 70s.
You said he has a 26-year. Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Dory pointed it out to me. I didn't
Yeah.
notice.
And you know what she said about him? He's got a lot of personality. Huh?
As we move toward close, gentlemen, what's your predictions for the rest of the year? I'm not talking about 2026 elections, anything, just for the rest of the year, just between now, which is March, and we're just trying to get to New Year's. What do you think's going to happen, Kelly?
Well, what's the adage? May we live in interesting times. I'll settle for more boring times, frankly. I mean, I'd like to have much more like stable, normal politics, the normal state of affairs than this craziness. And it's political tribalism, and it's not going away. And so this is just settle in. But I don't think it's any better in 3 more years when he's gone. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have lost civility in our society. I see it every day, and it's a shame. And part of this is politics, and maybe some of this is COVID. Maybe this is just we're digressing as a society. I don't know. I don't want to sound terribly pessimistic, but right now I am very pessimistic because I just don't see a happy world right now. And it certainly doesn't help, when the president is not a uniter, but more of a further divider, if there's such a word. He's not trying to set out to try and bring people together. Some of his actions and some of his words. And again, I'll say this. I don't think everything he's doing is wrong. I just question the way he goes about it. I think it's just like a bull in a china shop. And I miss the civility of old politics where the guys, they would say bad things about each other when they're, talking to their constituents, but behind closed doors, they were having their bourbon.
Yeah,
they were saying, listen, I know you have to say that. You have to get elected. But behind closed doors, let's get some stuff done. And now it doesn't matter if either party came up with a revolutionary idea, something, that could reshape the world. It would be based 100% on party lines. And so we can't even get the most basic things pushed through government right now. And so, to answer your question, what does it look like for me? It looks very negative. And I hate that because in general, I'm a very positive person. I've never been moved or motivated or let my emotions be attached to a president or a party, right? I've always just persevered through whomever was in charge. You just navigate through the waters and the challenges that you're faced with, whomever is in charge. But now I'm not quite sure I know how to do that under these circumstances, just with everything just being so unpredictable.
Very good. Mr. Goebel, your thoughts, sir?
Well, I think Ukraine war will be over. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but it'll be over. I think Hamas will be gone.
Amen.
I think Houthis will be gone.
Amen.
I think Iran will stop their nuclear development, or they will take out their nuclear facility. I think the prices in spite of all these tariffs, I think that we're going to become so energy independent that we're going to be able to design our own destiny from the standpoint. I'll give you an example. Trump has decided he's going to put tariffs on anybody, large tariffs on anybody that buys Venezuelan oil. Well, guess what? That's their lifeblood. Well, he's given an example to Russia because Russia's lifeblood is oil. And if he does it with Venezuela and is effective, that's just another tool in his toolbox to Russia. And he doesn't have to say much. He says, did it over there, and do it over here. So I think that's going to happen. I think space exploration is going to continue, and it's going to just allow us to look to the future and make us proud. I think AI is going to develop into something that's useful. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think
I'm scared of AI. I think it's going to decimate the workforce.
Well, it's going to affect the workforce, but I've been in a lot of factories, and I was in a couple of them that there are a lot of robots moving stuff around, and they're designing lines that have very few people on them, but it's keeping the cost of goods down. So this is making mops and buckets.
Yeah. No, I mean AI. That's a topic. That's a whole conversation.
Yeah, we got to have a conversation. My buddy, in all of the deeds in High Point, there's restrictions on not allowing black people to live in certain areas. And that's in the deeds, written in all the deeds. So that's
I'm very much aware of that history.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yes, you are.
Yeah.
But AI could go through all the deeds, lickety split, and remove all that. That's
Instead of paying $500 an hour to a lawyer.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
No disrespect to my lawyer friends.
500 is actually cheap for some lawyers.
I love my lawyers.
Yeah.
But is that against the law
Against the law, do what?
to have those in the deeds?
No, it's nobody wants it in the deed. They got to take it out.
But is it against the law?
No, they never
So that
changed the
means
law.
there you go, Goble. There's where I was going.
Yeah.
You beat me to the past.
Yeah,
you
gotta
beat me
change
to
the
the
law.
shortcut.
Even if they change the law, somebody's got to do all that. And there's
Exactly.
and so then that's just High Point. I mean, how many other cities there's that kind
Be
of
nice if
junk in
they
there?
changed the law.
Yeah, but I use AI many times. Like I had a new client that took steel and erected buildings, just did the skeleton. I didn't know anything about that business, so I went on AI and I said, "Tell me who are the players in North Carolina. Tell me how big they are. Tell me what kind of margins they're making. What kind of net income, return on, and how are they structured?" And man, that thing just gives it to you.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if you have AI, why will you ever need an accountant? Why will you ever need, because all you have to do is plug in tax law. I mean, it's going to decimate the workforce. I mean, like, think about it from this standpoint. We just avoided, towards the end of the Biden administration coming into the Trump administration, an East Coast port strike.
Right.
And their biggest fear was automation, because robots and AI can do what we're paying six figures to longshoremen to do.
Absolutely.
And so that's just the tip of the iceberg. And those are, relatively high paying jobs. I mean, six figures is a high paying job. And so I don't think anybody is safe from AI. I'm not sure how many professions are.
Well, there's going to be restrictions on them. I heard Elon talking to Joe Rogan about AI and about the future of the workforce. And Elon predicted that AI would become so strong and reduce the cost of goods to such a level that we would no longer be a country that manufactures. We would be a country that consumes. In order for us to
Aren't we that now?
Well, in order for us to consume, we have to have money.
Right.
Well, if you're not working, how do you get money?
Right.
And he said the government will give everybody a stipend, and they'll get so much a month, and their job is to manage that and go out and buy.
Isn't that socialism?
That's the last time I heard it was.
So finish your thought, then I'm gonna share my thought.
Yeah.
But no, I'm done with mine.
This is
Yeah.
I hope you have a very happy.
I do.
I want a happy bullish outlook.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
We have
Hey.
to stop now.
Yeah. Listen, the state, for those of you who are not blessed to live in the great state of North Carolina,
Kakalaka.
but at least you're in the great country of America. Hey, Greensboro, North Carolina is popping. We have industries coming in from all over different parts of the country, other parts of the world. We're sitting here. We have a 2035 10,000 housing challenge that's going well. We're sitting here just thinking about, we have one of the best governors in the country, and Democratic Governor Josh Stein, and Greensboro. We have a mayoral race coming up. We have some great candidates. I mean, listen, if you want to come where it's popping, come to Greensboro. It's popping like it's hot here, like hot fish grease. Come to Greensboro.
Sounds to
and
me
the
like
Triad. We're doing some big things here.
I think it's
Odell's running for mayor.
No.
I feel it.
Oh, hey, listen. Greensboro is the place.
I feel it.
Don't be late. Greensboro is popping.
They're going to be
Come
coming
to
after you like
Greensboro.
Bill Goebel.
Come to Greensboro. Greensboro is a fair living. You can make a living. Beautiful climate. Come to Greensboro, North Carolina. Check the statistics. Ask AI. Where are the people moving? They're coming to Greensboro. We'll leave the light on
But wait
for
a
you.
minute.
Why are they coming to Greensboro?
Oh, wait a minute. Odell's leaving Greensboro.
Where? Oh,
He's moving out in the middle of this year. So what the heck are you talking about? So buy his house. He's
When I-
trying to sell his house, folks.
when I
Help
moved
him out
to
here. Help
when
my
I moved,
brother out. Help my brother out. Buy his house.
he's gonna be mayor of Summerfield.
No,
When I moved to Greensboro-
Summerfield.
No, I want to say this. When I moved to Greensboro, I felt like it wasn't the end of the world, but you could see it from there. Now Greensboro is very, very livable. I don't want to.
Greensboro is nice. The roads are good. We have great corridors. I mean,
Don't
listen,
drink the water.
listen, Greensboro is good. Come
drink
to
bourbon.
Greensboro. Come to Greensboro. Hey, Toyota's hiring. Hey, Publix is hiring. Hey, a lot of people are hiring.
Boom.
You know, Boom is hiring.
Hey,
Boom Supersonics.
Boom
Shout out to
Jet.
Boom, baby. Boom, boom, boom.
A boom jet.
Boom jet.
I can't wait for boom jet.
Me neither.
I'm tired of those 4-hour flights from Charlotte to San Diego.
Yeah.
I want boom jet, like 2 hours.
How much would you pay for a Boom?
I would pay. I would pay a big premium. I'd pay double. It's worth it.
It's worth it. Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, they've got now, they tested the supersonic speed.
Yeah.
But they have also tested it without a boom. And they've got,
No sonic boom.
they've come up with a wing design that doesn't make
so
the
it
boom.
won't make people sleeping at night.
So they can, yeah, pretty much. Martha, our 10 o'clock boom's coming. Put on your knickers.
That's it.
So help me with one thing, Mr. Goebel.
Yeah.
Say it ain't so, Bill. Say it ain't so.
Uh-oh.
Are we running for school board again? I mean, do we need to start campaigning?
Depends who's listening.
Okay.
How long until the next election?
I got 3 years.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, no need to put him on the spot yet.
Okay. All right.
He's
That's it.
suited for city council.
Oh,
I feel he's much more
Yeah.
suited for city council.
Councilman Bill Goebel. I like the way that
rolls off
sounds.
the tongue.
Who's the council member for
Councilman.
this district now, sir?
You can be like Trump. You can present your hand. You may call me
Yes.
councilman.
Well, first thing I do if I was a councilman, I'd doge him up.
So, but who's the person now?
Nancy Hoffman.
Well, she's not running again.
No, she's not run. It's open. And they've
Oh,
got,
she's my district.
yeah, she's open. So,
So who's running?
I don't know. Some guy.
Oh, I know because I somehow I got his email because he was one of the people associated with stopping the growth on the housing the friendly association. And so I don't know. Did you guys see that where the city went after him about not trimming trees or something
Yeah,
that wasn't even
yeah.
on his property? I
Yeah.
mean, it was a classic politics.
Oh, yeah. It's dirty politics.
Yeah.
Come to Greensboro.
Come to
We
certain
like
parts
growth.
of Greensboro.
We
They
like growth. We like
not
growth.
my area. They keep Trader Joe's from coming in. They don't allow people to build. They're anti-growth. I don't share your
Come to
sentiment.
Greensboro, baby. Come to Greensboro. We got it going on. In
Okay,
Greensboro.
we got it
it going on.
We can keep going. I know we could make this a 4-part show.
If you want a living
Yeah.
and you really like a good family lifestyle,
Are they sponsoring you? What's the? I mean, you have a T-shirt.
come to
on?
Greensboro. Come to Greensboro.
I think he's got some
Come to
Greensboro swag on.
Hey, Greensboro's where it's
He's trying
happening.
to sell his house.
Greensboro is where it's happening. Greensboro, North
Are the
Carolina.
taxes less in Summerfield where you're moving to?
You can even go to High Point.
Charlotte?
You
Yeah.
can go to High Point. You can go to Brown Summit. You can go to something anywhere around Liberty. Just come to this area. Come to this area, and I promise you, you won't regret it.
I call High Point El Punto Alto.
What?
El Punto Alto.
What does
El
that mean?
Greensboro, El Winston-Salem. No, High Point. I tell you, High Point is. I was in High Point today.
The furniture capital of the world, baby.
Well,
the
I think-
furniture capital of the
No,
world.
but it's gentrifying, and I mean, say what you want about High Point University, but I mean,
Oh, it's making a difference.
it's making a difference
Huge
in the
difference.
in the community.
It's going to be a Duke University.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
All right, Kelly is back in the house.
Yeah,
Bill,
Kelly's
last word, sir.
This has been fun, Kelly. We're
Well-
going to get you more often.
I always wonder if I'm going to get invited back. You never
We
know.
wonder too.
You never know.
Listen, our next episode, guys, is going to be the mayoral candidate, Mary Kay, and then I think we're going to have the mayoral candidate, Robbie Perkins.
And then we ought to get the Maverick and then get Kelly back.
Okay.
I want to be on with the Maverick.
Do you want to
Okay.
be on with the Maverick?
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good show.
Have you
Yeah.
ever met him?
No. Our kids go to school together.
Oh,
but
he's a great guy.
yeah. No. And I've listened to your podcast with him. I like it.
He's really smart.
yeah, very, very,
Yeah.
very smart.
He makes Odell and I look good.
Well, that's good.
We need everything we got. So, but he'd be happy.
He
to-
didn't even call himself the good-looking black guy today.
I don't need
The
to-
slim, trim, good-looking black guy.
Hey,
I see your wife's got you
people have
walking again.
eyes. People have eyes. I don't have to say it. People have eyes. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the best looking black guy in this studio? Oh, it's me. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the only black guy in this studio? Oh, it's me.
Well, I think we had to end on that.
Well, I got a little soul.
Yes,
At least
you
I think
do.
so.
You think so?
Okay, here we go.
Find Bill and Odell online at thecommonground.show. This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. All rights reserved.
Attention men, here's an important new podcast you need to be listening to.
So this whole issue about prostate and prostate health and all the challenges and that we're having with it, but no one's talking. So that's the reason why I started this podcast, so we can talk, so we can get understanding. I understand I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical individual. I'm just an ordinary, normal guy who had some issues to say, hey, let's talk about this thing.
P is for Prostate with Odell Cleveland. Download anytime where you get your podcasts. And join for the full podcast at www.patreon.com/Odell Cleveland.
Whether you're a big, medium, or small business, managing and growing the bottom line is important. Focus CFO brings the experience and financial acumen of a Fortune 100 chief financial officer to your company at a fraction of the cost. P&L help, internal reporting processes, or any business transitions or events. Focus CFO will help you and your team have a CFO in your company's back pocket. Focus CFO. Learn more at focuscfo.com.